fans. Yeah, I know this review is a little bit delayed, and of course, I'm overdue for the next review as well, but let me get on with this one and get it out of the way. Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters. I didn't expect a whole lot. Obviously, I didn't read the novels, so, I didn't expect much out of the first one, which I enjoyed to some consent. It was a pretty decent action flick based off a book, which I never read, but it was very entertaining despite its flaws, which I've, mentioned in the review of the first movie, The Olympians and the Lightning Thief. It was a little bit long, but it was still enjoyable, even though it was kind of rushed in at the beginning, so as you know, I anticipated the sequel, Sea of Monsters, and yeah, some of the reaction was a little more negative on this one. Mostly from critics, just like the Lone Ranger. But fans, on the other hand, like myself, kind of enjoyed it to some consent. So I'll give you my opinion. I enjoyed it. It was entertaining. It wasn't as long as the first one, and I'm very sure it didn't follow the book, being that the plot outline was a little more thin this time around. I felt it didn't have much of a strong plot aiming for it, but it did build on an adventure to back it up. But it's very simple, but maybe a little too simple, and that's where I kind of figure it doesn't follow the book as much. I mean, it really can if it's this simple. But, for some consent, and entertainment value, maybe it's best to keep it simple. But I felt it should have had more complexity and more surprise to it. It was, it ended up being more predictable. But, if you're into that whole god type thing, with Kronos and all that stuff, it explains it pretty well. But, like I said, it's too simple. But the action, adventure, it's all there for the most part. I didn't see it in 3D, so I can't really express my own opinion on that, whether it's really worth it or not. I'm sure it's probably not. Pierce Brosnan, who was in the first one, of course, as you know, as one of the old James Bond, he wasn't in this, unfortunately, and I'm assuming Stanley Tucci was, I guess, his replacement. Not a bad choice, but I'm not really going to complain about it too much. Most of the other actors were all there. Yeah, I felt with the whole Cyclops being Percy Jackson's brother, I didn't really have much to say about that. Yeah, the whole I pun was kind of stupid, and I think the worst dialogue scene was where Percy was on top of the boat chasing after, trying to get into the Bermuda Triangle. Sorry for the spoilers. Yeah, is when the enemy, I forgot his name, is when he says, the rest of the movie holds up okay. So, in other words, it was decent. It was a decent action-adventure movie, and, you'd have to see for yourself. On the other hand, I didn't think it was terrible, but, it could have been better. So, my overall opinion, just a plain 2 modes up. I'm not going to be too harsh on this one. So, till next time, keep watching.
Get over.